Hi, I'm Dr. Bruce Lenes. I'm the medical director here at Gift of Life. I've spent much of my career in transfusion medicine and blood banking and cellular therapy. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about aplastic anemia and myelodysplastic syndrome. Aplastic anemia and myelodysplastic syndrome are very severe diseases. They're variable. There are some people who have mild disease and some people who have more severe disease. The important part of this is that the prognosis is also variable, in that some people live for some time and others, the disease progresses rapidly. That is why we need to go ahead and use a bone marrow transplant or stem cell transplant early on in the process so that we prevent it from continuing on to acute leukemia. The treatment is complex. It's variable depending on the person and the urgency with which the treatment has to occur. The only definitive long-term cure is a stem cell or a bone marrow transplant. Making sure that you have a physician who has dealt with these diseases on a routine basis is extremely important because they have the experience of know when to move faster and when to move slower and how to prevent any of these processes from getting out of hand. Of course, there's red blood cell transfusions. You can go ahead and get other kinds of chemotherapy to try to produce a remission. You can go ahead and use cell stimulating factors, where the blood stimulating factors where you try to increase the production of cells, but none of them work particularly well, so that most cases wind up having a bone marrow stem cell transplant. What's really important, though, for us here today is that bone marrow transplant is the only current treatment that gives some chance for a long-term survival. What that means is that there's a series of things that we can do to help individuals who are afflicted with these diseases. Number one, supportive care, making sure that they are supported both physically, medically, and emotionally. I think it's important for each of us to make sure that there's an adequate number of people in our donor pool where there is always going to be a match for the individual if bone marrow transplant is the recommended therapy. Right now, there's some ethnic diversity where some ethnic groups have a very good chance of finding a match in the donor pool, and where other ethnic groups, the chances of finding a 100% compatible donor are not as great as we would like them to be. If you would be so kind to go ahead and make sure that you have signed up to be a marrow donor, I think that would be greatly appreciated, and it's one of the things that we can do to help people with these diagnoses.